When I dissociate and I see that everything is made of the same thing, everything is molecules. The trees, you can see the life on the tree, how much the tree has life in it, electric molecules, a current of energy just going up and down all the time, but it looks still. The tree, if when you focus, if I come back to my body, the tree is a tree. But as soon as you go to that state, you see that everything, the floor is alive, a brick wall is alive, everything is alive. You can see that the air between me and the laptop, that now it looks empty, you can see that it's not empty. You can see that the molecules that make it, you can see that everything is made of some kind of energy, some kind of molecule, some kind of life, some kind of existence.
Today we have a very special guest. We have Salvador on the show. Welcome to the Celestial podcast, Salvador.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's a great pleasure to be here. Very
I'm very
excited.
excited about speaking with you. Like we said, we had been trying to reschedule this for so many times. So finally it's happening. I'm so excited for the audience as well to listen to your story. So let's start. What was it like for you? Now, the NDE is the big thing, right? So, what was it like before the NDE happened? Who was Sal before this major event?
I was the distracted kid, the kid that nobody ever knows where he was. He could be here, then he could disappear, and people didn't know where it was. I would probably be up a tree or chasing some rabbits or just involved in nature. Very curious, very spaced out. You know, those kids that people think they live somewhere else. That was me. Very easily entertained just with things, just nature and life, just very distracted. And as I grew up, I followed arts because I was good with it, I was happy with it. Then I got into my questioning of existence, and it didn't make sense at the time that it couldn't be just this. You know, I could see from society way of living, and I was always looking up and wondering what's behind that. Okay, we see the stars, okay, we know it's profound, but where is all this? What's holding all this volume somewhere? What, it's got to be a bag, something, it's got to be a. So I was that kid, very, very inquisitive about the nature of reality, the nature of, okay, we're here, and now what? Oh, okay, we need to study. Oh, we need to get a job. Oh, okay, we need to do all that. But you know, there was part of me that knew there was something bigger than this. That this was not everything. That get a job, build a family. To, yeah, great. But and then, yeah. So I was that kid.
And what was your upbringing like? Did you follow any sort of did you go to church? How are your parents? Do you believed in spirituality, or what was that? What were your beliefs like?
Well, we were raised Catholic. I'm actually at my mom's house. I came visiting my
Mm,
mom, and we had a religious upbringing, Catholic. Portugal is a country, very Catholic country for many, many years. So church every Sunday. Then I did go to a school that was Catholic school, and I was not on intern. I was not there full time, but we would go every morning.
mm-hmm,
And and then I did some choir boy. I was a choir boy for a while. Nothing
mm,
too extreme, but again, it was part of what we were told what to do. Oh, today you're going to go there, okay. And today we're going to sing, okay. And today we're going to go here. It's all right. I didn't find difficulty in things by themselves or in following
mm-hmm.
direction or being obedient or following the teachings. But at the same time, I never took them too serious because again,
Yeah.
part of it you already know. That story, you know, what? Everybody went on a boat and all the animals.
That's
Then
right.
what? So there's some stories you grow up with. Okay, I get the message. I see what you're telling me behind it. So fine, I'll take it. You know, it's just like reading cartoons, reading a comic book or something. I get it. I get the message. But and so yeah. So and then my name Salvador is another word in these countries in Portuguese and I think Italian and Spanish, and it's the other word for Jesus.
Oh, is it?
It's because Jesus, it was taken as the savior according to religion. It was a savior, or it was something like that. So it also mentioned many times as Salvador, Salvador,
The
because
savior.
yeah. So
Ah.
part of me, while I was growing up and going to and during the mass, the services, they mentioned Salvador quite a lot of times, referring to Christ, which usually would be the time when I was like, "What? Did somebody said my name?"
Oh, every time.
So I wasn't paying attention. I was just looking at the roof ceiling and thinking about stuff and what am I going to do? But no, just being a kid.
They say that we pick our name before we incarnate, right? So you definitely picked it.
I think in my early teens, then I disconnected from it. I was going to church whenever
Mm.
I wanted, not every time my parents would say. And then I would go to, because there would be already a network and people that I know I'll find there, and we have a good time and we chat, and regardless of the religion, the feeling of meeting with a group of people because they
Yeah.
believe in something greater brings a very nice atmosphere, brings a very nice spiritual essence of, well, knowing today that,
Community.
yes, yes, knowing
Yeah.
today that the origin was the same for everyone, and then all religions went on a different script.
Yeah.
But the
I
base is
agree.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, true. True. I think going to church and all of those rituals and going with the family, like every Sunday you go, you guys get ready. I get screamed at by my mom for being late. So it's like this fun childhood things, which then when we reach a certain age, we're like, no, we're not going. We are into spirituality. I'm into meditation. So then mom would go alone, and it's different. But childhood is always church, and everything is just beautiful. So I agree. What were those events that led up to the NDE? Because your childhood seems like a nice, quiet, calm, beautiful childhood. What changed? When did things go, you know, downhill?
So the curiosity was always there.
Mm.
The Then it was when I stopped going to church. Then it was aliens. I think it changed from
Mm.
spirituality, because then you go through that phase like, this story. This is probably BS. It's got to be the
Mm.
aliens. Yeah, it's got to be aliens. This is a story the aliens gave us. So then I had that phase again, and then I did have some incidents where I saw, we would gather up a mountain,
Mm.
and a group of friends there, we saw some lights in a way that we could not explain, but if all of us saw it, and all of us were like, wow.
Mm.
I guess this is something huge. But and then I started having some episodes where people that would passed away, I would receive them. They would come to me in public. They were not direct closest family, but they were like a second degree of closeness. And some other time they were not at all. They were just family of a friend. And then another time was a direct aunt, sister of my mom. And we were in public, and they come to me in a way they just come through the crowd, the usual ghost-like image of just a light body coming through with their face, and they're smiling and radiating a lot of energy and love, and they would come to me, and there would be a download, and then they would disappear, and I would feel them, and I would be like, wow, did you see this? And they were like, no, I didn't see anything. I said, wow. I would
Wow,
get the message,
really?
and then later I started sharing the messages that I got. Then I got into my late teens and started doing a lot of drugs because they were
Mm.
fun, and we were exploring uh, the mind and the universe, and just in the name of science. We were doing
No,
drugs
right.
in the
Yeah.
name of science.
Mhm. Yeah. When you said that, I've also seen, I've read somewhere as well. I don't know if this is true or not, but Yashua used to do psychedelics, and, I've heard like that kind of a thing as well. So I'm not sure what that is, but happens.
Yeah, it's been all the time.
Hmm.
It's part of it. We have carrots, we have tomatoes, and we have psychedelics. You know, all of it, all of it that is
Okay.
dysfunction.
All of it. Hmm. Yeah, you could be neutral about everything. Like I we don't know much. So how were your experience? Like how did you even get into psychedelics, and what did you see? Hey guys, if you've been enjoying this video so far, please make sure to support this channel. You can either subscribe to the channel, leave a like or a comment, or even share it with your family and friends. Apparently, it helps with the algorithm, and I have no idea how that works. Also, I'm sending out weekly love notes where I'm sharing with you my own personal spirituality journey, and also will keep you posted on the upcoming community events that we have. We have a lot lined up for you. We've got group channeling events, Akashic record reading events, and a lot of such community events that I think you're going to absolutely love. All you have to do is go to www.celestevolve.com/love notes. Now let's get back to the video.
Was a calling. It was a calling. I started investigating through because I was just by looking at society, I was not conformed with it. I was like, this is nuts. People are not happy in general. And then I got a calling about the '60s because of all the LSD and the peace and love movement and the power, flower power, and all that. I investigated a lot into it, and they had at the core very, very, very important messages. So then I just went to, I got to do this. I got to try LSD. I got to see what this is all about because these people are speaking important stuff. And then that was it. And then it is a phenomenal experience. The psychedelic experience is very, very interesting, and it's endless. You can, however, do it once and take anything that you need to then move on with your life. But I was just, I guess, too curious or too attracted to it. So I did it for many years. Then it led to drug addiction, to different kind of drugs, hard drugs, because it always happens. And then I went to rehab, got myself cleaned up. I was not interested in drugs anymore, and
Mhm.
started my life. And then 4 years later, that's when I had my NDE.
So you were talking about how before the NDE you were going through real financial issues. You were going through real depression. Why did that happen? Or how did that happen? Do you think you could have changed something? Can you tell us more about those events?
Yeah, but the funny thing is, the financial part always got fixed one way
Hmm.
or the other. Then I found out early too that the financial restrictions that we have to do with our emotional restrictions because there's always work somewhere, there's always money, and there's always a solution, practical solution. What led to it's just, oh, I know that there's a lot of work, but let's say Dubai. I did go to Dubai for after work. I did go to work in Dubai for a while. But let's say that we hear, oh no, there's a lot of they need people to work somewhere else. So there are solutions for jobs. It's just how much we allow ourselves or how much we believe that we can leave our country or can I leave my background or oh, can I do it? Can I go to China to work? Can I go to Japan? Can I go where money is? So
Hmm.
but the practical side of finances always got sorted looking
Hmm.
back. The depression was an emotional conflict. It was an emotional conflict that led to my depression.
Can you explain what the emotional conflict was?
Yes, I've had a disagreement with my father at the time,
Hmm.
and I felt I just felt huge sadness of the whole result of the situation. It
Mm-hmm.
was a huge sadness, and when you're sober, when you're in recovery, you don't go to drugs or alcohol to, oh, I need a drink because this day was horrible. I need a drink. That doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
You deal with things. Now you say, okay, I'm sad. Why am I sad? Okay, what have I done wrong? You work it, you write it down, you analyze your emotions, you recognize where you cross the line, then you make a list of the people that you must face and apologize and say, I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm sorry, but in an honest way. So there's a lot of therapeutical, it's a big recovery. It's a huge therapy. It's like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
serious therapy.
Yeah. But
And
congrats to you. I mean, it's a lot of courage for you to be able to get out of it, right? I know how difficult that is. I brought some guests as well who've come onto the show, and it's so difficult for them to go there and get out of it. Like you keep going in and out of it. So the fact that you got out of it, and even when you're going through all of that pain and the conflict with your dad, the fact that you did not resort to those things again to deal with the pain, that's a big deal. That's absolutely amazing.
yeah, well, it led me to a point where I consciously said to myself, to live like this, I'd rather die. That's how depressed I was. So
Mm.
courage or not, but again, it led me to my NDE, and the NDE was the best thing that ever happened to me. So knowing what I know today, because it's been a while and I've been doing a lot of other work. I know that I did what I needed to do to be where I am today. We know what we want and we can make it happen. And sometimes the way it happens, the way that life show makes it happen around us, it's things that we get surprised and or offended or shocked or depressed. But the fact is that everything starts with us. As
Hmm.
soon as I had my NDE, I understood that I don't blame anyone. I don't blame any. This is a game and this is fun. This is it's just a mirror. It's, everything is just a mirror. Everything around me is just a mirror of myself. It's just, and the same goes for you, and the same goes for everyone.
So what was it like on the day of that NDE? What were you doing? What happened on that day?
I was actually here,
Oh,
um, and it
beautiful.
was yeah, it was. I was 27. I'm 47. It was 20 years ago. The first one. I did have another NDE 2.5, 3 years ago. I ended up having another one. Yes,
Wow, you did not listen to the lessons in the first one.
I
What
did.
happened?
I did for 19 years. I did for 19 years, and then on the last year, I was like, "What if? What if I could do this and would be different?" And we will jump into that. But the entity that I channel through immediately comes and like, you know, that's bullshit, right? Like it was literally, that was pulling me into clarity. It's just like saying, "Don't go there. You know what happens if you go there. You know better." It was literally telling me, "You
Mm.
know better. Who are you trying to fool?"
We'll talk about that. Let's talk about the first one, and I'm excited about the second one. So, second one must be a little bit more profound with harder lessons. So, let's talk about the first one.
Different lesson. Yes, different. The first one, and then I was here. I was with my cousins, and we were riding motorcycle. Had bought a dirt bike, and because this is in the woods, so we were playing
Mm.
with dirt bikes and riding dirt bikes. And then I felt bad, and I told him, "Listen, I'm gonna go away. I'm gonna put my bike in the garage, and I'm gonna go home." So I took my motorcycle, and as I stopped and opened the gates to put it inside, I just literally I feel the heart just clinches because it stops. The heart stops. There's no more blood circulating. And it's so funny how we ignore, most of the times we just take it for granted and we ignore the fact that there's this little pump in here, small pump just pumping, 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 but every time. And that's what makes this body works. And the pump stops, your conscious is the same, but your body stops and shuts down. And I just go bam with my nose on the floor. I can see the nose coming to me. I can see the floor coming to my nose. I can see everything, and I know it hurts, but it doesn't hurt. The pain on the heart is just excruciating. Cannot breathe. I'm like, and yeah, and then I understood there was something serious going on. And I tried to get up, and I fall
Mm.
again, and then I just roll over to outside the garage, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm dying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then did you see that's it? Then how did you get out of it?
No,
Like, did you
no,
get
no. That
any?
then I started understanding that again the we are so much more than this. We're so much more than this. And the part that it hurts, in this case, it's on my chest. It hurts and it's in pain, and my body's not responding. I cannot even blink my eyes. Cannot move a finger. My You realize how your consciousness gives orders to your body every day, every second of the day, every minute. And now you realize that like something's wrong. I'm giving the orders and nothing works. And but at the same time, I'm conscious. Like if my body is just, but I'm still well aware. And then you realize that you can pull aside a little bit from the body, and it doesn't hurt. But you understand that your voice, your consciousness is actually your soul. Let's call it your soul, and or spirit, or your consciousness. They go together in to a certain distance, and and then the body doesn't hurt because you separate from the body, you dissociate from the body, but then you're like, oh, but that's me, I don't want to leave my body, that's me, and then you come back to, it hurts, and then you're like, oh no, it hurts too much, I'm going to dissociate, because then you slowly start clicking, the gears start working, that you, oh, my body's broken, but I'm not dead. So you start realizing that you fly, that you can go, that you still exist, even if your body doesn't, it's broken down there, and you still exist, the same voice, the same, oh. And then I start moving into in that stage when I dissociate, and I see that everything is made of the same thing, everything is molecules, the trees, you can see the life on the tree, how much the tree has life in it, electric molecules, a current of energy just going up and down all the time, but it looks still. The tree, if when you focus, if I come back to my body, the tree is a tree. But as soon as you go to that state, you see that everything, the floor is alive, a brick wall is alive, everything is alive. You can see that the air between me and the laptop, that now it looks empty. You can see that it's not empty. You can see that the molecules that make it. You can see that everything is made of some kind of energy, some kind of molecule, some kind of life, some kind of existence, some molecules. It's still hard to explain to this day.
Yeah, I can understand. Is it like, when Betty came on the show, she was talking about how it looked like like the blueprint, like the Matrix. So she also had this sort of out of body experience, and she said that she saw through the Matrix and everything came alive. And it's very difficult, I know everyone tries to explain it. There's so many different versions of how they try to explain. Someone else also said that the walls were alive, and it's, just for someone like me who is like so logical, it is very difficult to imagine what that would be like. But I'm guessing it's probably like, sometimes you see that when they go through these, I think in the Matrix movie, when they go through it, there's this green and black coding and everything that pops up, everything is just like code. Is it like that?
Yeah, but instead of numbers, in my case at least, is it's an electric current, that is correct, and then it's molecules and atoms, and you see that the way they're mixed gives them a
Yeah.
color and a consistency and a vibration, and the way, and something lighter in density, it's a different, it changes light, and but you see it's all the same, just compressed in different ways, but it's all alive,
Wow.
and everything is alive. Which we will get to that part, that how, which for me was probably the most significant part, how understanding the power that your thought has over that current, that electric current, how understanding how thought
Mm.
is not that commands but shapes, and thought can work that matter, because thought grabs it and moves it, and gives an order. It's a tool, it's an ability, it's the way it's built. But before we get to that, still on the floor, i'm I quit. I realize, okay, this must be what it is, dying, but I'm not dying. So, but this must be it. And at that time, just tears left my body, because I think the body goes into shutdown,
Yeah.
stops working, and it's like tears come out. I accept. I said, I'm dying. I couldn't. I wanted to call people and I couldn't. In the meantime, my cousin that
Mm.
was also in the motorcycle, he passes through the garage, and he doesn't see me on the floor.
Mm.
And I'm thinking, I hear the bike, and I says, "Oh, I'm gonna wave my arm to him so that he can see that I'm on the floor." And my
Yeah.
arm doesn't get up, and I'm like, "Lift your arm
Obviously.
and wave," and the body doesn't move. And like, just wave, wave, and like, so
Oh,
they, yeah. And I feel there
wow.
goes my only chance, because nobody else is gonna see me here. And I accept, and from the moment that I accept, and I go to the place where it doesn't hurt, which is where I'm just spirit, just it's the start. It starts the best feeling, uh, the relief, radiating state of just being. Oh, did it feel so good? And I I I start moving, and I start questioning myself to say it doesn't feel strange. It feels like you've been there before, but you don't remember. But you think you remember. It's like sounds, it feels familiar, but uh, I don't remember, but it feels familiar. So as you start going, and I'm questioning myself. So where am I going now? What can I do? All these questions. Where am I going? What can I do? Where is this? And I start dissociating, and I see as I leave the body, I also leave the planet. And the way I saw the trees and my body and the sand as organic matter, I start seeing the planet as the same composition as a compressed molecule mixture of things. And then I leave it to the point when the planet was that small, so far away, minimal. That's when I look to the other side and I'm like, okay, so where am I going? And I see another light very, very, very far. I was like, okay, I'm going there. And by now I'm excited already. It's fun because you feel so amazing and you feel so alive. You're like, and you're flying, and your mind controls where you go. Okay, and then I'm gonna go there, and there I go. This is a dark section. It's all very, very black, which gives the effect of the light at the end of the tunnel that many people describe. That's the effect that it gives, that it's a tunnel and the light is over there. But it's not. It's not a tunnel. It's just the speed that we go through the blackness that seems
Mm.
makes the effect of a tunnel. And then I get there to that, it's like this brightest light, just trying to find the words again. And I've spoken about this so many times, and each time I try to find a better word, but they don't exist yet.
We don't have those, our language doesn't have the right kind of words for it, but we'll
It's
try.
it's an ecstasy of existence. It's the ecstasy of being. It's the pure love of its essence of living. It's life. It's a pure essence of life. Clean, because it's clean, because there's nothing in it. It's just life, just like a source of light. Just you're like, and then it gains a shape, because then you understand how this works. You understand this is my thinking, my subconscious mind going, who is this? Because I can feel it's talking to me. I feel its essence. I feel its signature, like the
Mm.
personality. I can feel that being is different than me, but it's the same. We're the same, but we're different. We're made of the same thing, but we have a different knowledge, a different experience, a different origin, or a different, I wouldn't say origin, but a different experience.
Does it feel like you met your parent? Like, does it feel like you came home and you met your mom or your dad? Does it feel like that?
Home, yes, but imagine meeting the creator of many, 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 many generations before, like many, 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 many. You can call it a parent because
Mm.
and at the same time you understand the system of a light being that grows to a point that then can have another ramification that grows by itself, and this one keeps growing with the growth of the other one, and then the other one can have descendants and descendants, just like humans have a family tree and descendants and grandparents and grandkids and grandkids and great 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 great, like the same way that when you evolve to a certain point you're a mom, and then your daughter evolves to a stage that she will be a mom, and so on and on and on and on. You see that existence at the soul level, let's put it that way, in a spiritual essence. And my understanding of that entity that I was facing, it, it was ancient, was far in that descendancy was, but at the same time, I know that she's not the first. Let's put it that way. I know I didn't meet the center of the center of the center of the center of the beginning of everything, conscience wise, because you understand it's consciousness. You understand that consciousness that permeates that entity, it's the same that permeates mine. We communicate through the consciousness, but our souls or our spirit ramifications, at what stage are we born or not born, they're different. There is a birth of expansion in a way, but we're all coming from the same. It's like I met an old ascendant, and I know that that's not the first because I feel him connecting with the other one. If this makes sense, it's like the same way I'm talking to this entity, talking and asking and receiving and understanding and getting explanations. I know that he responds to someone else bigger and more ancient, to put time into it. So you have the clear vision of the mechanism in creation or in existence. It's, but then again,
It's like you saw yourself, your like like you as an atom or something, probably the deepest part of you, like who you are, the essence of who you are. Is that what it felt like? Did it scare you, or what did it make you feel when you saw the essence of who you are instead of all those egocentric layers that you had? What did it feel like?
relieved, happy,
Relief.
excited, good to be back. How could I forget this? Relieved mostly, so happy, so satisfied. It's like none of it matters. Oh, the only thing that matters, let's call it about this, my last incarnation or living in Salvador until that moment.
Mm.
The only thing that mattered was how many times I was in full joyous existence, honoring myself as a light being, as a spirit, as a source, as a God, as a soul, as a creator. Those moments of my life that I honored it and I allowed it to happen, allowed the magic to happen, believing in magic, believing in possibility, believing in imagination and desire, and allowing it and live that excitement of pure idea, desire, possibility, that machinery, that it's magic, it's not magic, then you understand why that consciousness manipulates physical matter. Then there was another explanation on how then you see the mechanism, how the energy molds physical matter. So it was relieved, it was so good, and it was the excitement again because I was like, so then what happened here and what happened there and why this and why that? And that entity starts replying, and I get the life review. I got a very, very nice life review.
What was it like? What did you see in your life review?
It was literally like a slideshow. Since being born, the movie passing through, growing up, like a time lapse of my life. And literally, I saw the light being that I am, that a light being that I am now, and part of it going to the baby and coming and taking over, and then the baby being, but the light being, you see the connection, the chain that unifies every human being with that source of energy from the other side. So you see how it's like physical matter, but when the soul comes in, that's when things start, and it goes. And then when we supposedly die, just that same wire of soul comes back to the big soul that we all are. It's like going back to that bigger soul. And I understand that I'm it. This is funny and it's not complicated, but it's sometimes weird to explain. But when you reconnect to the whole that you are, and you feel, it's like you feel all your other experiences on the planet. It's like you feel, oh, you get the knowledge of all the experiences. Let's call it reincarnation or incarnation or parallel realities or your concurrent soul extensions that are living, and you feel them all at once, and you feel everything, and you're like, so you feel complete, you feel relieved, you feel complete, relaxed, you feel amazing. But you also find out that there's no such thing as stopping. There's no stopping. There's no, okay, I'll stay here for a while. No, because it's expanding, it's growing, it's alive, it's a current. So you have curiosity again. At least in my case, this was my experience.
You know what this reminds me of? Like when you explain this, when I'm on Instagram, right, or on social media, every time I try to be someone else, right? So it's like this is me, but let's say 5 years back, I wanted to try to be what it would be like to be a makeup artist, let's say. So then you go deep down that rabbit hole of learning about makeup, posting, doing that. You try to be someone else like a makeup artist. And then you go so deep and then you realize that I'm actually not a makeup artist. Then who am I? And then you come back again and then you realize I'm probably not that. Then you try to get into something else, like let's say a coach, okay, like a digital marketing coach. So then I'm going down that other sort of thing when I'm learning about digital marketing. I'm getting so into that thing of digital marketing. I'm doing courses, I'm getting certifications, I'm posting about it, doing it. And then I go so deep, and then I realize that I'm probably not that. And then I come back and I feel relieved again. And you keep having all of these experiences. Right now it's like a podcasting thing, and then you come back and you feel I'm just everything, probably.
You can be whatever
What do
you
you
want.
think?
It's exactly
Yeah.
that. You can be whatever you want. And that's the beauty and that's the gift. And that's why we should just be grateful just to be here. Every human being should just be grateful just to be here. Because if you made it here, it's because you got given the tool set of go and play, be whatever you want to be. You don't have to be it forever. You can change your mind whenever you want. Just go be. Because as you were describing it, you grew from each experience. And it's the same at a different scale on the other side where there's no physical matter.
Mm.
It grows with our experience here. It grows. It's like some things come back with you, some things don't. Some things are just mundane and it's part of the game, it's part of the agreement, it's part of the game. It's like if you want to play Monopoly, there's a few rules. And you
True.
fight, you have emotions and you have laughs and you pay and you don't pay and somebody fails and somebody wins. But at the end of the day you get out of the game and as you said, you're like, oh, that was fun. Okay, what am I gonna do now? It's
You
it's
always
okay.
learn something to it. You don't regret it. It's like, okay, even if it's at that point of time, even if it was like trying makeup artist, well, at least I learned how to do makeup. If it's digital marketing, at least I learned how to send out emails, right? Then you come back and, you know, it's just, okay, good experience. But does it mean that, okay, I come back and I'm like, fine, now I can do nothing? No, now I wanted to be someone else.
Because it's the process, right? I think the excitement that comes, it's the process. The excitement of, oh, I want to do that. I want to try that. I want to be an astronaut. I want to see that. That looks fun. I want to try that. The process of something that we don't know nothing about, investigating, growing, 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 and then doing it, if it keeps us excited. And that's the moments where we also light up. And that's the moments that the system on the other side expands. Anytime we're feeling excitement or joy or pure love through meditation, through doing things that we feel like it, be it gardening or painting or the excitement of following something out of excitement.
Mm.
Yeah, I want to be a makeup artist. You didn't choose it because you thought it was going to be painful. You chose it because you thought it was going to be fun. So, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
I'm going to choose that. No, it's because it's fun and excited. You light
Yep.
up. Your energy levels change. And the thing hardest to explain these days to people that some many people don't believe. When you go through that, when you're doing what excites you, you don't notice because you take it for granted. But
Mm.
physical reality around you changes.
Yeah.
Everything changes. Everything. It's like a
True.
different layer of existence. It's like, oh, you choose to be at this level of operation, the world is like this. You want to be excited? The world is like this. It, it's mind over matter.
Yeah. It's like like when it's like when I wanted to do digital marketing, I was surrounded by digital marketers, right? So everything changed. When I'm doing the podcasting, now I'm surrounded by podcasters and amazing guests. Do you think it's just God who is now trying to play what it is like to be Sal and what it's like to be Tanya? And then when both of us go back there, we're like, uh, okay, that was fun. That was a good experience. Now I want to be someone else. Because when I asked you what did it feel like to meet that being, I thought you would feel like being like meeting your father. Because it's like maybe you're like, like, oh, finally to the creator. But no, you said it felt like just me. Meeting yourself.
You meet yourself.
Yeah.
And the best way that I find to explain is, imagine that you, as you described, imagine you want to be a podcaster, but you also want to be first you understand that you are. Then you say, you realize I can also be an artist, and I can also be an interviewer, and I can also be interviewed, and I can also be a designer, and I can also be an astronaut or a firefighter or a race driver, or I want to be a nomad. I want to explore the planet. I want to be a sailor. The truth is, you can, this going back to that point, what if you
Mm.
could multiply yourself and make a copy of yourself like right now, just like, look, now there's two Salvadors. It's okay, you're going to go be the makeup artist and I'm going to be the, and then, oh, but we need another one because I also want, and at the same time we know that I am me and we are all me and we're all one, and we all feel what the other one is feeling, and but we all learning and being different. So it's like you multiply yourself, finding out what you can do. You find out that you subdivide yourself. Oh, how far can I go? What can I do? And because, again, this planet, the Earth planet, is like a game center where you created it for that purpose. This is not a prison. This is not a punishment. This is entertainment. This is a playground. It's a bit, yeah, I could call it a video game. I rather, yeah, let's go call it a video game. But it's created and the rules have been agreed before and the rules have been
Right.
defined. The rules meaning there will be sand, water, fire, gravity, and it will be suspended. And we need a sunlight stations and put more planets in it because those planets also
Mm.
make the electromagnetic equilibrium of everything being in place to spin it. That's so you get an understanding of everything.
When you said that, when you said rule of the game, right? In the Course in Miracles, it says that there's only one rule in the game, which is time, which means that it will end. That's the only rule. That all of this would end, which is why every single one of us would die at one point. Like the illusion would end, and then you will go back. That is probably what do you think about that when you say
I
that?
don't like the word, obviously, I don't like the word dying.
Yeah, because you already died and had too many experience. Okay.
The meaning of we give to the word dying doesn't exist
Hmm.
because then I give the example of the cinema. Then I think the cinema effect, because, for example, I love cinema. I'm passionate about cinema. When I go to the movie theater, I I really switch off and I really get if the movie is good, right? And I
Yeah.
really get inside the story and I feel it and the things and you think and how you're going to fix it and what's going to happen now. I really live it. It's like I'm one of the characters that I chose to support or be or who I identify with, who I feel I've been in that position. And I live it. I love it. I'm fully committed to that picture on the cinema. There's nothing else. My life, my existence stopped. Right now, I am that movie. And at the end, I'll come out and I'll go home again. And I say, wow, that was such an experience. So we'll say, wow, this movie was great. More like it. The process of coming to the planet, yes, the time in that sense, that when you choose to come, you know you will go back home. So yeah, the time frame, I totally get it, but I prefer this analogy. Well, the way I felt it, it's more like this. It's like we come here as many times as we want, and it's like going to the cinema. Which character you're going to be? Like an actor, you can play the rich, the poor, the man, the woman, the good, the bad. Even if good and bad only exists inside the game. It's another of the conditions of this duality: hot, cold, in and out, up, down. That's the construction of this thing that consciousness created to come and explore another way of existing. Let's try to exist as human beings. What are humans? I have an idea that's going to give them a body like this, and it's going to be like that, and then it's going to give them the playground. It's a set. It's a set. It's a set for a play, but the play that keeps going and it keeps expanding, it keeps evolving, it keeps finding out what can I do with this. But it's existence, and then to the core, you go back to the beginning. You're part of the same initial consciousness, if that makes sense. But yeah, the time factor is, but I see it as a positive because now
Yeah.
I saw it that you come knowing that you will go out. So it's not something sad, and death has a connotation to it of sadness and ending and heavy, something really dramatic,
Yeah.
drastic. And it's not. It's a relief. It's fun. It's such a joy when you transition to the other side. It's such a the best release. It's like this body is too small for how big you
Hmm.
are. So when you leave
Hmm.
it, it's like, oh, phew, that was great. How was that? It's it's exciting. It's good. It's beautiful.
It's like wearing those skinny jeans. You finally come back home and can just like remove it and like, oh, thank God. It's- That's what it feels like. Sounds good.
That must be
And
it. Yeah.
what was it like when, and then at what point did you decide to come back and wear those skinny jeans again?
Uh, Understanding my powers, understanding how my thoughts were creating my reality, understanding the mechanism of thought of a matter, mind of a matter, where spirit is in it, where essence of the soul is in it, where all these components make the human experience, and realizing that I was using probably 3% of my, no, I was using a lot of my creative abilities because I was creating my reality, but I wasn't aware of how I could change it like this and being charged completely of my experience and understanding the mechanism, mind over matter, soul, desire, spirits, all these principal things that create my physical experience. That being, because on the other side you are, you be, and being is amazing. Being alive, because that's alive. Being on the other side, that's being alive. You're like, you're fully alive. And it feels pure, it feels amazing. It's like this unconditional love that even the words don't it are not enough to reach the feeling of life itself. It's just like this vibration of, and that you can bring that with you. You don't need to stop being that. You can carry more of that, at least, because then you're going to be human, you're going to get distracted, but you can be more of that. You can be more of your true essence in here, and understanding that it's okay to have fun. It's okay to come and have a blast. It's okay to come and do what makes you happy. It's okay. And then it ended up actually with not just being okay, but it was like an order that the entity in the end told me. This was very, very specific. It was like, you're gonna go back and you're gonna enjoy. You're gonna have fun. You're gonna be in love. You're gonna be in love, meaning in love, being in love, the essence of love, which is life itself. You you're going to be appreciation, that appreciating of the existence, appreciating the magnificence of existence. Because when we stop to think about that, to appreciate what existence is and how good it feels and how fun it is, and that I don't know nothing about it except that it feels great. If I let it, if I just focus on what it is to exist, I know nothing about it, but it's freaking great because I'm here and I know this will end the same as the movie theater. I know that the cinema will end at some point,
Hmm.
but I know it doesn't matter because I'm going to go home and I can put another movie. or I
Yeah,
can take my tight shoes or my tight jeans, or
that's right. It's a good way to say that. It's like it's beautiful when you say that. It's like you went there and you realized that this was just a game, and probably I could have brought more of my fun self and then go and enjoy it when you know that you're going to come back home anyway. So why do I have to watch this movie feeling so depressed and thinking about useless things? Why not be so present at the movie?
there's many reasons to that. I put it to them. Well, then you have the narrative, and you have the power of speech, the power of thought. Again, thoughts are very powerful. They shape our
Hmm.
reality. They literally shape our reality. Thoughts shape our planet. Thoughts shape the level, the amount of fish we have in the ocean. Thoughts, it's not the other way around. It's thoughts create how much fires we have, how many wars we have, how many water or not water, how many happiness, how much. It's thoughts. It's thoughts. It's not the other way
Hmm.
around. It's not that the planet exists and we have to, oh, now it's going to be a bad year, or no, it's thoughts. You need to learn how to take charge of creating your own environment. And if you don't do it consciously, you are doing it unconsciously or subconsciously. You are doing it on automatic pilot because you see the news, oh, California is burning. And just by that acknowledgement for 5 seconds that you acknowledge that California is burning,
Hmm.
a new square meter of fire just started. It's like we're that powerful. That power. Consciousness, the
Okay.
mind of a matter. And people don't believe this. People don't understand that they are creating their planet every second. Uh, oh, the war has been terrible. And again, maybe one more hour of war just by acknowledging it and seeing it and stating it, because you are making it, and people don't think so. People think it's the other way around. No, I'm just acknowledging. I'm seeing the news because it's so bad. Yeah, but you're making another day of it. Just by acknowledging it, you just throw in another bit of energy, another battery of energy to make it last a bit more. Learn how
How
to
did you how did you see this in, like, how did, when you're saying this, right? Is it because you saw your thought changing the energy, like the electric charge? How does that look like? I know this is very difficult to explain, but what does that mean?
persistent thought creates brings into matter. Light
Hmm.
thought, or not just so persistent, gives an idea. Gives when you imagine, when you see images in your head, when you dream, when you
Hmm.
okay, you can be here and you can be imagining something, and you're imagining going to the beach and doing this, and what bikini or swimsuit you take, or where you're going to go for. You can imagine those things. That's one kind of reality construction passing by, but it's
Hmm.
but you can act on it or not, or you can insist on it or not. Then you can create reality in a way. Um, I just got an invitation to go to the beach. That's why I mentioned this. I just got a message here to go to the beach. That's why, but
That's
it
what
was
I
in
heard. I heard the tone. So
yes.
next is beach plans for Sal.
Yeah, it's like 40 degrees outside. It's great. Dubai must be boiling too.
It's very boiling. My daughter keeps asking, "Mom, when will the world become not hot again?" So we're like, so it's unfortunately going to be this way, kid. It's very hot.
Um, so the way I see it, okay, let's put it this way. The same one that we were talking before that wants to get to know himself. The fact that here we see war as something bad. On the other side, when you transition to the other side, you understand this is just a theater and there's no good or bad, and the war is not a problem. Because physical pain and the physical good or bad, all these conditions, the game,
Hmm.
it's like monopoly money worth. You cannot take monopoly money to the store
Yeah,
because it's only worth at the game. You
yeah.
cannot take, hey, here, I just made this amount of money. Here's for my groceries. Doesn't matter. It's tell you get out of here. You know, it just doesn't matter. Pain, the trauma, all this suffering, the it serves a purpose because you cannot see the light if there's no dark. And from the dark, if it the darker it is, the more light you need. So it's a source of love. It's like the beginning of a new way of loving. War is just the beginning. So, and because there's no good or bad, it's just a way of doing things. It's just you understand that it's just a mechanism expanding in the whole like a cylinder proportionally, and it's one thing that doesn't exist without the other. And if we are huge beings of light, when we shrink ourselves to become here human on this set of rules we played, we realize, oh, but this hurts and this is pain and this is sad and this is. But we shrink ourselves to that aspect because we are here. We are bigger outside. We are soul, pure love. You're always pure spirit, love, consciousness, just being, loving, and it's just being. But it's like you're bored and you say, okay, let's make a game because I want to see, I want to learn what could come out of this, or what kind of love is coming out of this, what kind of light is going to come out of this. So then again, the game. Then there's another aspect which is, okay, I need to send me talking as a creator. I'm creating a game because I want to experience what the beach would be like, beautiful ocean and beautiful waves and but I also want to experience what it would be like to be a victim, and I want to experience what it would be like to be a criminal or a war, or what kind of union comes after the war, what kind of unconditional love for the next one comes after the wars. So the benefit of a war. Okay, I need to send part of me to be the criminal and part of me to be the good ones, even if all the good ones believe they're good and all the bad ones believe the other ones are bad, and so on and on. So it's like the people fighting in this
Mm.
war, it's like two hands from the same body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're just washing themselves.
Mm.
So
Got
yeah,
it.
it's it's two arms of the same thing. These
Just
humans killing
different
each other,
experiences. Mm.
these humans, they come from the same.
Mm.
It's just the same playing with itself for a purpose.
This is even when bad things happen, we never say that I wish that didn't happen. We, I don't, we would be like, thank God it happened because I did learn something out of it. So wars would be that, financial stress would be something, death of death of a loved one, or divorces. All of this is just we're learning something out of it. Something will come out of it. When did you come back then? How was it like when you came back? Or how did you come back into the body? Because right now your soul is everywhere enjoying. And what was that moment like when you were back in the body?
So when I understood all, it's like after the movie of my life, I had some questions, which the entity showed me the answers, and then I was like, I reached a point where it's like, okay, I'm satisfied because the last question was like, so how did I get into this point that I'm lying on the floor wishing to die? You know,
Mm.
what
Mm.
the heck? And that gets explained, and at the end of the explanation, it's like, oh, my whole life it's sorted. I was like, I got all my answers. My whole life got explained. I'm feeling pretty great. I was like, this is cool. I like this. I was feeling the blissful of just being, like energy
What was the answer to that? Why did it, what did they say that this is why you got to this point?
to be where I was right now. That was the only door
Good.
to open to get there, to have that experience, to meet the creator, to have my answers about existence, about what is beyond, about all my personality, the way I grew up, having these questions and being a dreamer and I have my own questions, and
Hmm.
you get your answers. That's why I say be careful what you wish for because you will experience it. Or if you know how powerful thoughts are, you'll never think negative again. Those
Hmm.
things, spelling. Why did they call them spelling? Why did they call them all these magic? It, there's a reason for it. At the same time, let's call it God. God loves you so much that He will give you because you create your own reality. It will give you
Yeah.
what you want to believe. You want to believe it's hard, it will be. You want to believe it's good, it will be. Uh, and you are free to choose your beliefs. You are. That's the gift. That's the game. That's the game. We're all independent, and we all are connected to the same because we're all benefiting the same. Same is learning with all of us. So yeah. let's just work together or not, but have a blast, just so in that moment that I realized, there's a kind of moment of, okay, now choose. And I was like subconsciously thinking, oh, I want to play again because now I know the rules. I was just like, I'm, now I'm good. Now I'm going to go. Now I'm going to be happy. I know I'm going to be happy. And the same at the same time. So this is an acknowledgement from both parts. I'm going through this at the same time that an entity is telling me, we're both acknowledging that I want to come back. The process is for me to come back. And I'm like, what else? And the entity just goes giving me kind of a list of things, how I was going to behave, what I was going to do, what things to give importance, what things to not give importance at all. And then after that message, it was just like, it's time to go. And I got out of there and went back through the darkness. And then I see the planet again coming bigger, 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 and me coming to the body. And
You know, this is the exact scene that is there in the movie The Soul. Do you know? In The Soul, the soul is coming, it's like flying to the planet, and the planet is coming closer. And they're like, at the first time the soul comes to the planet, the soul is very scared. But the second, so then it has an NDE, by the way, Soul. Okay. It's an animated movie. It has an NDE. And then it goes through all of that. It gets the answers. It realizes the purpose in life is just to enjoy. And then the second time, the soul is coming back. And this time, that soul is happy. It's like excited, so excited to play the game.
I'm going to Google that because I've never seen that. It's called The
Oh,
Soul.
it's called The Soul. You're going to love it because I think it was also probably a story of someone who had an NDE. So everything, it's like the tunnel is there where they're going to the source. Uh, Absolutely amazing movie. So it's exactly, you can say next time you go on a podcast, you can say, just like how that
Have you seen
scene
The
in The
Soul?
Soul. Yeah. You could say exactly that. So after you had this, right? After you came back, how did your reality change? Like, let's say how did you integrate with it? So I just know that you had issues with your dad, and then you had the financial issues. How did those financial issues flip, or the thing with dad change?
Everything flipped with the understanding of switching off the mind and grabbing that, like the cord, the spirit cord that I have in me, like every human being has, which now I know it's a cord that it's connected to the bigger side and the bigger side and the bigger side, to the energetic side of spirit. Let's call it spirit, of soul, of being, of existing, of being. Just by ignoring everything that is physical, everything that, all the narratives of the planet, all the news, all the noise, all the opinions, everything, and just by focusing on it and by feeling it, how good it is, because I have the knowledge of or the knowing of that. If I hold that feeling of heaven on earth, which is why the whole question was, I can bring this back. I can bring this feeling of unconditional love back to the game. This can be that good. Living on the planet can be amazing. Um, so just by holding it, holding on to it, to 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 your heart center, to your soul essence, which is basically meditation, I guess, but a conscious state of meditation. It's a conscious awareness of the purity that it's life. And just by holding it, you start cleaning up, and you're cleaning up, and you're cleaning up, and you only grab the weight. That one I really like. And then you realize that as you hold on to something that you like and you're imagining it in your head, and now I know I'm building it just by imagining it, and I'm building it, and I'm building it, and I'm making it happen, and I'm building the walls, and I'm building the scenario, and I'm building, and I know that the right people will come to it because there's more people interested in experience that the same way as me. And because the soul is so big that it will give the intervenants, the other actors and the other aspects. And yes, it will rain, and yes, it will be an act, and that it will be a loving, and then it will be, there's, you build it just by being in that state of creating. And I got into that because I was like, I know better. People would come, the doctor would tell me, oh, you're going to need to take these 7 pills for the rest of your life. And I was looking at him and said, you're so wrong. Take that stuff away from me. You don't need any pills. Your body reacts to your, almost me speaking to the doctor going, no, your body reacts to your state of being. Just, what are you talking about? You can
Did
heal.
you just have a heart attack or me?
You know,
Okay.
and you start this. So it was not easy in the beginning. There was, it was easy for me. It was the easiest, was loving, but you realize how people are in their own process, and you're like, okay, I don't even have time to try to change your mind, because I need to pay attention to what I'm building, because I know now that my homework is to build my experience. Otherwise, I'm going to live in the experience created by others, by their other narratives. And the narrative, no, the homework is create your own narrative, create your own experience. So the biggest work was that, to stay in that loving state of being, because it's powerful. It's powerful, and grab onto what you want to experience and think about it, and then write it down, and feel it. Then all of the law of attractions, and then The Secret came out like 2 or 3 years after that, or 4 years, I don't remember. And then uh, what some coaches teach, and what some today, many teachers, this way, this is boomed tremendously, which
Hmm.
what we were told at the time 20 years ago. That's what we were told. The next 10 to 20 years is going to be, all of these substances is going to be like spread like wildfire. All of this
Wow.
awareness, this is going to
Ha-
spread like,
Who told this? When you say when you were there, you got predictions,
I won't call it predictions, I call it understandings.
understandings. Okay.
Understandings, it's facts. It's like
Hmm.
you see, oh, what's going to happen. Oh, it's just like the background. It's like the electricity that builds everything. It's like if that
Hmm.
current changes, everything inevitably will change.
The ripple effect. The whole thing will
Yes.
change.
Yeah, so it
Hmm.
changes energetically from the inside. And because it's mind over matter, the energy, it's the source of everything. As a consequence, the trees will change, the oceans will change, the people will change, the consciousness will change. It's like when the snake releases the old skin, and
Hmm.
then releases the old skin, or a lobster when it releases the old body and moves on to the next one. So when it changes from the core, then it's just inevitable. And then you're like,
Wow.
I did have a question for you though. At the time we spoke, because I'm guessing you're from a different religious background.
No,
I'm
I'm
guessing.
Christian.
Are you Christian? But where
Hmm.
are you from? Are you from Dubai? Where are you from? From,
I'm from India, but born and raised in Dubai. So I'm a Christian surrounded by Muslims and Hindus and all sorts of religions.
because India, it's a mix. I thought India they were all mostly Hindu. There's a lot
No,
of,
India is a mix.
because I was so curious, because I got that understanding from you that you had a wide range perspective on the religious, and I did think we were going to speak more about that in this conversation, because I was curious. I wanted to hear your perspective, because mine is very blunt on, since that episode. My opinion about religions is just very quick and very fast and very blunt about it.
Hmm.
Doesn't really matter.
Well, I do have the Quran and the Bhagavad Gita and the Bible and everything. It's very beautiful. I think actually the Bhagavad Gita, the Hindu religion, they speak more about your experience. They are so spiritual. It's so beautiful. There's this one beautiful painting picture that it shows here. So this is the Bhagavad Gita. So here it shows that we are going through these different cycles. You see, it's all of these different cycles. So it's like the Bhagavad Gita explains it so beautifully. And then you see here, this is showing that you are here and your soul, your higher self, is playing your game as a human over here.
Yeah,
You see,
pretty much.
they and then okay, and then this is here. Look at this one. This is
But
so
you have
good.
self will. But remember, you have self will. The toy at the bottom being played by something. It's not like that. You are given self will. You have freedom of choice. You have self will. But anyway, but carry on. I do know that the Hindu is the closest one to what we've experienced. It's the closest one.
Hindu,
There's
yeah.
some diversions, but it's the closest one.
Hinduism is the closest one. But the thing is with Hinduism, right? What I've realized is when you speak to Hindus, they already know all the stuff. So they're not that excited about talking about it. But with the Christians and the Muslims, when you say Christians that there's reincarnation, then we can fight. They say you are demonic. Then you talk about so like the conversation gets super exciting when I talk about it with Christians and Muslims. But with Hindus, they're like, yeah, reincarnation is real. Yeah, higher self is there. Yeah, they're like they know everything.
They know.
They
They're
know
born.
everything.
They're already born with that. They're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Like you're talking
Wait
about,
for lunch.
you
Yeah.
saw the source and ND. You're like, shut up, we know it already. So I'm like, I'm not that. I'm a little bored talking to Hindus because, no matter what I say, they're like, sure, so we know it. But Muslims are the most fun. They fight. And then I get so passionate and then we fight with each other because it's like you talk about reincarnation. No, for them there is hell. 100%. There's heaven and hell.
You can have that experience if you want to, because again, your thoughts and your desires are so powerful that if you believe that you're going to hell, you will go through a process of, again, because it's mind over matter, you can create the experience of what we call hell. Because then again, you're so loved and you're so powerful that if that's what you want, we'll give that experience. It's literally like that. The creator being you, why wouldn't you give to yourself what you want to experience? So the version of that person, of me, that wants to experience hell, sure, go there and tell me how it was. Oh, it was not nice. Okay, come back. It's not forever. It was just a test. You can create everything to experience. So the people that there was a debate with someone else too, because hell exists. As soon as you get out of here, it's like pure bliss. You're just spirit. You're source. It's not hell. Oh, but there's people that went through this and say yes, you can, but that's temporary.
But there's actually when you say that hell is temporary, right? Even I tell people that hell is not real, hell is temporary. But then they say that the Bible talk mentions hell more than heaven. Then there are people who say that they have seen hell. On YouTube, you've got a
The
lot of
Bible
them
was
seeing
made
hell.
by humans. The Bible was made by humans.
Yeah, that is. But then they say that Jesus spoke about hell more, and I don't know Bible that much, but Jesus does do speak about hell too, and Muslims fully believe in hell. They
The
know,
mind,
and
the mind is the hell. The
mind is
mind,
the hell.
the way you get stuck yourself, and then because it is that powerful, it's again. And I think Jesus' role is misunderstood too. I think he's just giving an example of how it's possible to live in this game. He was not special or different. He was just reaching out to some abilities that we can all have and a way of living that we can all have. I think he was just showing, hey guys, by the way, this is what you can do in this game. You can walk on water, if even if that is just whatever happened. You can have enough fish as you want. The multiplications, all the miracles that is described that he did, they're all explanations of mind over matter. All It's only mind over matter. He was just explaining unconditional love, mind over matter. Doesn't matter. Give the other cheek. Why are you getting offended? You're giving hell to yourself. Why are you getting upset? Just doesn't matter. Yeah. So he was showing a way to live by choice. Say, hey, yeah, you can live like it. You can get offended if you want. You can get upset, sure, or you cannot. Or you can just love and keep going. And I don't know. I'm not a fanatic by far, but I think it's still a bit misunderstood what actually it represents, the whole history around Jesus. And it was just a way show. Said, hey guys, by the way, you can live like this. It didn't say follow me. It didn't say I am the Lord. I am the. It just gave an example. But anyway, let's not get into religion.
No, the Jesus part is confusing. I mean, sometimes I would say that Jesus is just like us. Then I think it changes. Like last week, I had an ex Satanist on the show, on the podcast. So he was talking about how, anyone who says that you cannot communicate directly with God is lying. You can communicate directly with God. So then that got me thinking, then why is Jesus in the picture then? Like, because, I don't know now if the Course in Miracles is true, because in the Course in Miracles, Jesus says that why did Jesus say, you can speak to me and then we have that thing as well, right, where it's easier to communicate with Jesus than with God. So there's and then So it's like a sort of confusion that comes up where in the Bible Jesus talks like that, and then in the Quran they say that Jesus is just a prophet, and they don't give too much importance to Jesus in the Quran or any teachings. They don't even mention any of the teachings of Jesus. So
The beliefs, the belief, for example, people, the way people imagine God. Oh, God would never speak with me. Who am I don't deserve it. I'm such a sinner. I was drunk. I slept with that person. I did this. Why would God even receive me? Maybe God doesn't see me because I've sinned so much. But hey, you can speak with that guy. He will speak with God. Oh, there's a messenger. It's oh, okay. This guy is more accessible. He was with the prostitutes and the drunks and the sick people, and he walks barefoot, and the Jesus, you can speak with them. Or it's just a way of, it's again, it's belief. It's belief. It's just we create our own barriers with beliefs. Why would it be difficult to speak with God? At the same time, they say God is everywhere. Everything is God. So I am God. So I can speak with myself. How can I listen to the part of God of me? Oh, okay. It's that simple.
if you think like that, right? If you think about the ascended masters who came, Buddha, he didn't even write a book. He did not write a book, but his essence is still radiating everywhere on the planet. Yashua came and he did a great job. But in the name of, so Jesus says that there is God. Buddha says that there is no God, that God is within you, right? So if you look at it, the more number of people that killed were the people who tried to, propagate Christianity. But Buddhism, I don't know how many people got killed in Buddhism, but it's not so much or so many. They go into the breath and they go into those kind of things. So I'm like, don't you think Buddha actually might have done a better job than Yashua, right? And then,
But again, who did the killing? And that was human mind again, the same that happened in Egypt and the same that happened. The message got to the planet, and at the time was just spoken. The message was just spoken, was channelers. They were channelers speaking. They were
mm,
channeling voice of reason, and they wouldn't need to convince anyone, because when you see a channeled message, you don't question it. You feel the source of it, the purity of it. So they were just speakers, and it was forbidden to write down. Then a few centuries passed by and they started writing. And then the people who had it written realized the power over others that had given. And then it started diverting almost into spiritual neighborhoods, one being Hindu, Christian, whatever. Today there's like 3,000 churches of religion. So the word that was spoken only, from the moment it started being written and used by man as a tool to control and to manipulate, the killings involved, that was a man-made situation. And that's when the, let's say, the killing started, when man started diverting the teachings to their own gain. So yeah, I wouldn't put it even as Christians or not, or white man, black man, Hindu, not Hindu, it doesn't matter. It's, yeah, some people are just like that. Some people will do what they can to, they realize, oh, wait a minute, I can control people with this. I have the book. It got given to me by, this is the sacred book. You
the
should do as
Torah
I
is this, everything is in here. You just follow the Torah or you get killed and hanged publicly.
say. That's human. That's human, because source, God, spirit would never kill anything, because it's killing himself. Because
Mm.
it's like me chopping one finger. No, I want them all. I need them all. I need all the fingers in my hand. So why would I cut one and say no? It just doesn't make sense. But anyway, it's funny how you have reached all of them. You have a very wide perspective in it.
Yeah, I went searching for God, and then, but the thing is, my idea of God keeps changing all the time, right? Depends on what I'm reading at the moment. And I feel like, though, when you say you are following more of Buddhism, because you're saying that you met yourself, your higher self.
I'm not saying that I follow. I don't follow
No.
any. And when you say meeting God or speaking with God, it's just that spark. I had it from my, I'm probably influenced from my experience. There's an electric charge to the body. It's an electric current, electricity around the muscle of the heart.
Mm.
Electricity, a spark of life. My perspective, because that's the essence of life. That's what I call God. That energy of life itself that makes life happen. And it's everywhere. You can speak with it. It's easy. It's easy to speak because you are part of it. You are God. It's not somewhere that is over there that we need to walk in a line and wait for a visit. No, it's in here. We don't need to call it God. You can call it source of everything, or all there is, or existence, or universal consciousness, whatever you want to call it. Life itself. It's not that I follow Buddhism.
No, you don't follow Buddhism. The essence of Buddhism is like
It's
the.
the cleanest, I would say, from all of them
Mm,
that written, oh, on the Bible, and then I'm going to put this, and then I'm going to put that because I need money, and they need to pay me because I'm all powerful, but I need money, and then you need to
mm,
pay me. And the other one says, oh, if you don't do like this, you are an infidel, and you're going to be chopped off, and that's not
mm.
God.
You
So,
know,
but I,
I would love, yeah, I would love to, continue our conversation forever and
yes,
ever. There's like so many things that I wanted to speak with you, but because of time constraints, we're going to wrap up. Thank you, Salvador. Thank you so much for coming on the
you,
podcast.
thank you, I loved it, thank you.
That was such a fun conversation with Sal. I'm so excited to have him on the podcast. If you want links to where you can find Sal, please look at the show notes below or in the YouTube description. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.